Welcome to the Haney Biz Project with Mark Haney. Mark is a serial investorpreneur and the chief dreaming officer of the Haney Biz Companies. He's working tirelessly to ignite the entrepreneurial revolution and share the inspiring stories of the region's most influential leaders. Coming to you from the Marquee Media Studio, here's Mark Haney.
All right. Yes, this is the Haney Biz Project, and we are here in the Marquee Media Studios inside Mark Tank here at the Allegiant Giving Center, and we are here to bring the entrepreneurial stories to you today. We are entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs on a mission to ignite the entrepreneurial revolution right here in our hometown of Sacramento, right? We share the good stories, the stories of winning, and those winning stories, you know, they are not always easy. In every story, there's always a point in time where it gets scary, right? You start off, you're so motivated in business and your entrepreneurial endeavor, and then you hit that rocky road, and sometimes it gets a little scary, but along the way, we've got to figure out a way to overcome our fears. And I am here with my main man, Marcus Haney. How you doing today, buddy?
I am fired up. I am banging, actually.
We always ask that question. Are you hanging or banging? Because when you are banging, you are at your very best. You are in the zone. You are working on your number one opportunity. And so many times we are not in that zone. It's great to be hanging and relaxing, but when we get stuck in between, like when we're scared, like, that hesitation, that paralysis through analysis, that is not banging, my friends. That is not winning.
In the Marine Corps, we call that no man's land.
That does not sound very fun. Now, well, today, Marcus, is a special day for you. Number one, it's your 30th birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
How's it feel to be an old man?
I woke up a little sore this morning, so as trials and tribulations are coming through.
They say don't trust anyone over 30, so now we are...
I'm in the group.
Yes. We are in the group. But you know what? This is also the 6th anniversary, right? Your 6-year anniversary of a big deployment in your life, right? When we sent you off, we gave you the hugs and slapped you on the butt, and you got on the bus, and you went off to a place none of us have ever been, or none of us have ever wanted to be.
Yeah.
Afghanistan, man, 6-year anniversary.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It seems like just yesterday I was getting on that bus, and I think that you told me something along the lines of the Taliban elected to receive, right?
I think I asked you, you were, well, it was interesting because there was just hundreds of guys jumping on the bus. The families are super solemn. The Marines are solemn because you guys are going to the most dangerous place on earth, southern Afghanistan, right? Banging and sanging, right? Afghanistan, the most deadly part of Afghanistan at that time. And, you know, everybody was so solemn because we knew where you were going, and except you. You were like, you stood out to me. I'm like, Marcus, how you feeling? You're like, Dad, I feel like I'm getting ready for a football game. You're all pumped up. I feel like we're getting ready for kickoff, and I'm on the kickoff team. And I'm like, really? Look at everybody else. I mean, you were the guy hanging out the window in the bus while all the other guys kind of had that like solemn game face on. And here you were going like, let's do this.
Yeah, I guess you raised me right.
Well, that's when I texted you. You guys ended up in the airport. I guess it wasn't an airport.
March Air Force
Base, and you and I were texting each other. I'm like, hey, how you feeling? Are you still feel like it's kickoff time? And you're like, yeah, I can't believe it. I feel this way. And that's what I texted you. Yeah, don't forget, the Taliban elected to receive. Yeah,
that's right.
So, and as we know, we're going to share a little bit of that story about your deployment in the final segment. So if you stick around today to the final segment, you're going to hear something that probably most people have never heard before. I'm just going to leave it at that, but it's going to be an interesting story about, you know, we're talking business about facing fears and is there anything scarier than public speaking? And then, you know, you think about the guys that are out fighting for our freedom, and, you know, some of them are solemn. There's got to be a little bit of fear kicks in. We're going to talk about my fear of public speaking a little bit because I had a little fear kick in, and we're going to share that story at the end. But, you know what? Thinking of fear, like public speaking, we started this radio show 2.5 years ago, and I was scared. Our first guest was Uriah Faber, and luckily he held my hand. He was gentle, but I was scared, and it's taken, a little bit of time for me to get over that hesitation, right?
Yeah, well, hey, look how far you've come, though. Now you're a full-fledged professional.
Well, I think and we're here in the Marquee Media Studios, right? It makes me think, okay, so the Marquee Media Studios, right? Marquee Media are those billboards we see as you're driving down the freeway, right? And guess what? Our Marquee Media, I'm getting texted all week. Hey, Mark, I saw your picture on the freeway sign. Hey, Mark, I'm seeing you. I'm getting texts from people I haven't talked to in like 5 years because somehow my name is up on the sign, and yes, we have arrived, right? This is the turning point. We have made Marquee Media. It reminds me of that movie, The Jerk, where Steve Martin goes, the new phone book's here, the new phone book's here. I'm somebody. And my friends, that's how I am feeling today, starting off with that fear of public speaking. And now, Marcus, we are here bringing the entrepreneurial stories with confidence. And today, we have some of those great stories. Today is going to be a great one. Coming up in the show a little bit later on as our third guest, we're going to have Darren Mount. He is with iHeart, a vice president over there, but he's also a top-level triathlete. We'll share his story a little bit later, a little bit before that. We're going to have Monique Brown. She is the magic behind Sacramento's startup ecosystem. She brings it all together for the earlier stage companies. She recently brought together the King's Capitalized Pitch Contest. We will hear her story. But coming up after the break, we will meet Jay Shukla, visionary entrepreneur disrupting the way that pharmaceuticals are created and sold at Nivagen Pharmaceuticals right here in Sacramento. And yes, I am the entrepreneurial storyteller, and we will get these stories coming up after the break. Join the revolution at HeyBiz.com, brought to you courtesy of California Backyard. This is the Haney Biz Project.
The new phone book's here! The new phone book's here!
Well, I wish I could get that excited about
Nothing! Are you kidding? Page 73, Johnson, Maven, R. I'm somebody now! Millions of people look at this book every day! This is the kind of spontaneous publicity, your name in print, that makes people! I'm in print! Things are going to start happening to me now.
Now, back to Marquee Media Studio and the Haney Biz Project with your host, Mark Haney.
Welcome back to Haney Biz Project, brought to you courtesy of Comstocks Magazine and California Backyard. I'm Mark Haney, and today I have the privilege of being joined by Jay Shukla, President and CEO of Nivagen Pharmaceuticals. You are disrupting things over at Nivagen. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate you being on the show. We met each other at the Ethan Conrad Pitch Contest, and your company won that. And, I want to get your story because most people don't know about Nivagen. I had not even heard of you guys until that night, but you guys are skyrocketing.
Yeah, so we're in a generic pharmaceutical business. What we do is that we provide a cost-effective quality pharmaceutical product and try to reduce the cost of healthcare.
Right.
We also do some unique development that is what you call a extension of existing therapy that brings either the compliance or quality. So for example, if you have a once-a-day dosing, we'll try to convert it to once-a-week dosing. So it increases your compliance.
Okay.
And we also commercialize product for other pharmaceutical company.
So you have different channels that you sell through. So who would your customers be typically?
Mostly our customers are big wholesaler like McKesson, Cardinal, ABC, big retail chain like Walgreens, CVS, Publix, Kroger, hospital like Kaiser, the GPOs, the big Costco's, Walmarts.
But you're a generic pharmaceutical, so you're taking some technology that's already been created, putting your brand to it, and then redistributing it? How does that work?
So what we do is that we reverse engineer it.
Okay.
So the product is already approved as a safe and effective. What we do is that once it loses the patent, we reverse engineer it. We do a small clinical trial to make sure that our drug is exactly same as the brand drug.
Okay.
Go through the FDA approval process, and once the FDA approves our product as a generic equivalent to brand drugs, then we come up with a lower cost
Right.
generic.
So you have to re-engineer or reverse engineer this product. So thinking about what your team may look like, you got a bunch of really smart people that you've surrounded yourself with. Tell us about your team.
Yeah, so I've got a really good team, and as you know that for any company, the team is the game, right? So I've got a bunch of PhDs in organic chemistry, and these are very smart people from industry with 20, 30 years experience. I've got a formulator from Sandoz, Novartis. I've got a analytical chemist from Pfizer. We have a very unique sales team with generic experience. So to give you an example, like say you're trying to copy a top ramen noodles, right?
Okay.
You bring that in your kitchen and then you dissect it. You look at the size, the shape, the color, the ingredient, the filling, the smell. Same thing with the pharmaceutical. You bring that in your kitchen and then you dissect it. That what is the shape, the size, the ingredient, the excipient, everything. And then you reverse engineer it and then you run a small clinical trial. And so I come and give everybody a noodle and say, tell me which one is the Romano noodle and which is mine.
Yes.
Right? And if they can differentiate, that means, okay, we got the prototype formulation ready. And then we take it from a kitchen to a commercial kitchen. And that's where we optimize it. That's where we scale it up. Then we go through the whole FDA approval process and bring it to the market.
I'm glad you broke that down for me. You know, I don't do a lot of cooking, but I see my wife always trying to create something in the kitchen. But thinking about why Sacramento, you're not originally from Sacramento. Tell us about your journey and how you got here.
Yeah, so I am a pharmacist myself, and I used to work for government, in Department of Healthcare Services, and that brought me here.
Okay.
And when around 2009, I decided that I want to do something, of my own. And that's where I started because I was based in Sacramento. I just started here.
And so you brought your team together, and I have to imagine at the beginning of the journey, or at some point along the journey, now you guys are skyrocketing, but there had to have been a little bit of fear that kicked in at some point. Was there ever a point in time when you were scared?
No, it was a huge fear because think about it. You're in a very secure government job, making a very good amount of money and a very secure job, relaxed life.
Yeah.
And I had twins at that time.
Okay.
So when my twins were born September 2009, company was started in December. Now you have a twins, you're the only one making, and you're starting a company.
You're the breadwinner.
Right.
You give up your secure job with great benefits to go do a startup.
It's just difficult in the beginning because the healthcare cost is skyrocketing. So you don't have a health insurance when you're starting on your own.
Right.
You come from a structured work environment to unstructured work environment.
Yes.
Because when you're working, you have a set thing you're doing.
Yeah.
Now you're starting from scratch. So when I started, I just went on the board and I just put the different parallels like the regulatory, sales, marketing, R&D, accounting, finance, the legal, compliance, and then you have to look at all these different pieces and you gotta connect them. That how is whole thing gonna work, right?
Right.
So yes, knowing an unknown, coming from an structured to unstructured workplace, and doing everything from scratch is fearful, and it's very challenging because you're just brand new. You have no clue.
How did you overcome the fear?
So what I did was that I came up with this 3P, and that's one is called planner.
Plan? You got a plan.
Planner, or what do you call? I have a weekly planner.
A weekly planner. Okay.
Then the second P is Pomodoro. That is a focus.
Okay.
Pomodoro is a Pomodoro technique.
Okay.
And that's a focus technique.
Okay. So
and, And the third is a passion, of course, right? So this 3P. So what I do is that.
What was the third one? I'm sorry.
Passion.
Passing?
Yeah, passion. Like you're passionate.
Oh, passion. Yeah. Passion.
So,
okay.
So what I do is that every Sunday evening, I have a weekly planner, and I put bunch of action item there. So I have a accounting related action item, finance, marketing, R&D, legal, all this bunch of action item. Then I put my week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that, okay, this is the time I'm here, and these are my working hours. Like say I have 7 working hours, and I'm gonna put each item 20 minutes, right? And for that 20 minutes, I'll do that Pomodoro, which is a focus timer.
Okay.
where you turn off your phone, you turn off your computer, and you just stay focused on one action item.
Nice.
One at a time. And then you knock down 7 or 8 action item a day, or a
Yes.
major one, and then you just keep doing it.
Yes.
And now I've created that for the team. So my VP of sales has that. My VP of R&D has it. His report has it. So now what I do is that I sit and say, let me see your planner or your plan, and I know what he's doing.
Yes.
He looks at his guys, and so we have a what do you call a control on what exactly we're all as a team doing, and how we as a team going. Are we going in the same direction?
Right. Makes sense. So, I mean, kind of just jumping in, but jumping in an organized way. It sounds like you bring that organizational structure to the team. What can we expect for Nivagen moving forward, and what does it mean to Sacramento?
So last year alone, I've created 17 jobs.
17?
Yeah. Out of that 17, almost 90% are 100,000 plus, 130,000
Yeah.
plus.
Great jobs.
Great jobs. We're looking to hire at least another 20 people in next 20 months.
What kind of people are you looking to hire?
Mostly what we do is the science project manager,
Okay.
analytical chemist, regulatory people to deal with the FDA, quality assurance guy.
Are these people based out of Sacramento, or do you recruit them from around the country or around the world?
So around the world.
Okay.
But most of them are from university new graduates. So we got 3 new graduates this year. What we do is that we hire someone who is experienced, and then we give them couple of guys who are new.
Yeah.
So they get trained. So we bring one guy who knows the stuff, and then we get people to.
How many, let's say we look out 3-5 years down the road, how many employees will be here in Sacramento?
At least 150 plus.
150 plus of these high-paying jobs right here in
Yeah,
Sacramento.
because what we're doing right now, we're virtual model. So what we do is that we do our own development, but we contract manufacture right now.
Right.
Right. But we're trying to get vertically integrated. That means that we will have our own manufacturing. So we're trying to evaluate right now a manufacturing capability here in Sacramento, where
Nice.
we may open a couple 100,000 square feet manufacturing site, and that will bring at least 90 to 100 high-paying jobs.
Well, you've been so successful in migrating from a government job to now this entrepreneurial rocket ship. As we only have about a minute or so left, but just advice to people who might be thinking, hey, I've got this idea, and I think, it might be a little scary, but what I should do with my idea.
So normally, anytime when you have idea, you gotta put it in a like. So there's a different parallels. Like, so one is like setting up this whole fabric, right? Like setting up the company, putting together accounting, this and that.
Yes.
This is the fabric
Yes.
piece of it. One is the networking piece of it. Then you need to get out there, network, right?
Right.
The third one is some kind of a structured work environment you have to create for yourself,
Yes.
right? That you have to put together the whole thing, and you need to hit it. And another one is, of course, a risk. You have to take the risk. You have to touch that little boundaries, I mean, you can't be in your comfort zone. You have to get out there, do your stuff. And the most important, you have to be passionate about it. You have to believe in what you're doing, right? I just went to the SAC startup weekend, and I came across a lot of new ideas and entrepreneurs, and I'm sure that one or two will hit it,
Nice.
And I think that Sacramento is at the stage where the Bay Area people are getting out of market, and we here in Sacramento has a reasonable cost of living, a good environment for entrepreneurs, and I think you get everything. Like, once you go out there, you're gonna find people
Yeah.
to help you out.
Thank you, Jay. I want to thank you for coming on the show today and sharing your story and your wisdom and your confidence about our hometown of Sacramento, creating jobs, taking risk, overcoming the fear. And that's what entrepreneurship is all about. When we come back, we are going to be meeting the woman that puts the magic in the Sacramento Kings Capitalize event, in Sacramento entrepreneurship, in Sacramento. Mrs. Monique Brown coming up. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com, courtesy of Audi Rockland and DCA Capital. This is the Haney Biz Project.
Welcome back to the Marquee Media Studio with Mark Haney, igniting the entrepreneurial revolution with the Haney Biz Project.
Welcome back to the Haney Biz Project, brought to you courtesy of Hub International. I'm Mark Haney, and today I have the privilege of bringing onto our show Monique Brown. How you doing, Monique?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Yes, we have a few things that we want to talk about, but I want to get to know Monique Brown, or I want Sacramento to know Monique Brown just a little bit better.
Okay.
Tell us about who is Monique Brown.
Oh, gosh. Really? Okay. First and foremost, as you know, I'm a mom of 5 girls. That's
Yes.
my leading identity there. But I'm also somebody who has a tremendous passion for working with people to empower them to reach their vision, communicate their stories, and get connected with resources to help them grow. And so I've gotten a chance to do that in a lot of different ways in Sacramento, worked with a lot of different people, just some great people in Sacramento to do
How
that.
would you describe these startups and early stage entrepreneurs?
Passionate. And that is what makes it so fun to work with them. I love sitting in a room with someone who's sharing their ideas with me about what they want to create, and you can kind of just see it come to life right in the room. And it's just so much fun to see people with the creativity that we have in this region and the passion and the heart too. A lot of people who are wanting to do well, but also to do good.
How did you get drawn into this Sacramento entrepreneurial ecosystem?
It's Jack Crawford's fault.
Impact Ventures, my buddy Jack Crawford. He's a good salesman, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he is. And he tells a great story, and he hooked me from day one, just on the potential for this region. Yep.
Well, yeah, he is. And Impact Ventures are doing so much, in helping these entrepreneurs get themselves funded and in developing their pitches
Right.
and their
Yeah.
approach to the startup.
Yep.
Talk to us about your journey. So you started off at Impact, and now you've expanded your magic.
Yeah. Well, no, I had the absolute pleasure of working with Jack and his team at Impact, and as a part of that on something called the Entrepreneur Showcase, which is a program that brings in entrepreneurs and works with them over a number of weeks. I think it's 12 weeks is what we used to do, to help them with different areas of their business. And it always culminated in a pitch event. And pretty soon you realize just how powerful being able to tell your story is. And that's where I started to get really dialed in, was about how, a lot of these entrepreneurs have amazing ideas, technology, subject matter expertise, but they're not always awesome at telling their own story. They don't promote themselves enough, right? And so really working with them on how to tell an effective story.
Well, what is the way to do that? Because you and I have worked on pitch contests and on things like that. How do you tell an effective story when you're speaking to an investor?
Right. Well, that's a great question. And, we saw that this last week at King's Capitalize. We had the opportunity to see 16 entrepreneurs try and go through that journey. And I think it always starts with passion. Again, going back to that is, you have to convince the people in the room that you believe so much in what you're doing, and they should believe in you too, right? And so it's convincing them that there's a really meaningful problem that you're solving, that other people care about that problem, and that you are the team with the technology to provide the solution.
Are people ever afraid to get up and speak?
Absolutely.
I have to imagine you're speaking in front of all these investors, people who could be life-changing, game-changing for your business, and you've got to get up there for the pitch of your life.
Yeah.
How do we overcome that?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, it is a really vulnerable position to be in. I mean, you're up there talking about what you're spending your life on, and you're opening yourself up, in fact, inviting, in a sense, criticism or, kind of evaluation of, is this a worthy endeavor, and this is what you're invested in. And I think that it is something that scares a lot of people. And I would say, to Jay's point previously, like, planning is really important. So taking the time to, I think people think that when they see a good pitch that person is a good pitcher. And that's actually most often, that's not why they did such a good job. Right. They have put hours and hours and hours of preparation into the development of their message and into practicing delivery. And so I say, first and foremost, it's preparation, right? Second, it's just having that passion and really connecting with that, because you're there because you believe in yourself. And so not being afraid to just stand up and shine, really. So preparation and passion connected together, I think, equals a really fantastic pitch.
Well, let's talk about the Sacramento Kings Capitalize event. What got the Sacramento Kings so motivated to help entrepreneurs?
You know, they approached me a couple years ago. They had an intern who had this idea, is my understanding, and he was phenomenal. And I just have to shout out to the Kings in the way that they engage interns and really empower them. I've seen it over and over again. It is a hallmark of innovation, in a sense, to just like give somebody the opportunity to run with their ideas and see what they can do with it. And they've really done that. And I think Capitalize is an example of that. But they came a couple of years ago after attending one of Impact's demo days and said, hey, had this idea about like running this pitch competition and leveraging our marketing platform to support entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Sacramento. Our ownership really believes that Sacramento is like on the verge of being this great city. And, you know, we have the talent and the creativity and the ideas here, and we want to be a part of showcasing that. And so we worked together over the last couple of years. They have, run this contest, and I'm just there to kind of, have fun with them. I have fun with them, but
it is fun.
Yeah.
We were there the other day. I was one of the panelists or judges, and it got narrowed down to 4. Talk to us about that process and what can those 4 expect from here. We're down to the final 4.
Final 4, yeah. So we started with applications. I think it was like 75 something applications that came in paper, on paper, essentially, digitally. And those were narrowed down to 16 who we had the opportunity to work with through a couple of pitch workshops and pitch reviews. That was the 16 that you saw when we did the judging last week. And out of those, the final 4 make it to the next stage. And what that involves is they got their videos created by the Haney Biz team. Thank you very much.
Oh, you bet.
So they have a
little plug for Haney Biz video group, guys.
Very nice job. So they have basically a 30-second Kickstarter video, which is online now.
Nice.
So fan voting is active. You can go check it out and vote for your.
What's the website?
It's Kings Capitalize.
Kings Capitalize.
If
Okay.
you Google that, you'll find. I think it's mba.com/Kings Capitalize, something like that. But yeah, you can vote now, and they will be featured in Arena on March 22nd for Tech Night. At which point the judges, which you get to vote on this, will have selected the winner. Fan voting serves as a tiebreaker, an influencer, if you will, that last judge per se, and they will receive $10,000 in prize money, as well as some introductions to angel investors and some CFO services from Countsy. So we are really excited this year. Every year we've been really fortunate to work with community partners that help to power this event. This year, the city of Sacramento's Sacramento Urban Technology Lab stepped up. And so Lewis Stewart has been a great, as you know, advocate for the city and the entrepreneurs in the city as well. So we're just really lucky.
Well, we are. I think in Sacramento right now, I call it the power of with the Sacramento Kings, with Monique Brown, with the entrepreneurial community, as Lewis Stewart and his team. Anything is possible, and I think we can transform Sacramento in a way that most people can't imagine, and it starts with entrepreneurship. Monique, I want to thank you very much for coming on, for what you do here in the Sacramento entrepreneurial ecosystem and sharing your story today. And I think it's very helpful, and we look forward to finding out the winner coming up in just a couple of weeks. When we return, we will be joined by a superhuman triathlete, Vice President at iHeart Sacramento, Darren Mount. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com, courtesy of the Entrepreneurs Organization of Sacramento and law firm Greenberg Traurig. This is the Haney Biz Project.
And now, back to the Haney Biz Project with investorpreneur Mark Haney, coming to you from the Marquee Media Studio.
Welcome back to the Haney Biz Project. Well, today, my friends, we have a special treat. We have the man behind iHeart Media here in Sacramento, the VP over at iHeart Sacramento. He is also a triathlete. Mr. Darren Mount is in the house. How you doing, Darren?
I'm doing great.
Well, I appreciate you coming down and sharing your story. And we've never had anybody from iHeart in here, but today we're talking about fear. Let's get to know Darren Mount to start off with, and what you do over at iHeart. And then also, let's talk about your journey as a triathlete.
Well, start off, I guess, with the iHeart. I'm the VP of Sales.
Okay.
So me and one other counterpart run the sales division for our radio stations. My primary focus is News Talk, News Radio, KFBK, and Talk 650, which is
That's
what
our
we're on,
station,
right
yeah.
now. So yeah, just manage the day-to-day advertising, client relationships, things like that.
Okay, so we want to hear your story as an athlete. We've been talking about fear today. We've been talking about what makes us afraid in business, but I think so often in sports, we see parallels with the way we see ourselves as entrepreneurs. Talk to us about your journey and how you might have to overcome any insecurities.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest challenge for a lot of people, especially in triathlon, is, it's 98% mental.
Okay.
And just getting over those mental blocks and really accepting the fact that truly anything is possible. I mean, that's one of my biggest mantras. We are limited by our own thoughts, that self-fulfilling prophecy that we can't accomplish something or we can't do something. So if you just change the lens of which you look at different things, anything is possible.
Well, I mean, let's talk about a little bit of the pain tolerance, because I don't know that everybody knows what the triathlon consists of, right? There's swimming, there's biking, and there's running, right? What's that look like on race day when you got to go do it?
Yeah, it's elite exercising is what it is.
Okay.
But no, what I do is Iron Man Triathlon. So
Okay.
there's a bunch of different distances, from the sprint distance, which is a shorter race, to the full Iron Man, which is 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112 mile bike, and then a full 26.2 mile marathon.
What's your fastest time?
9:40-ish.
Whoa,
I think, somewhere
are you
in there.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow. What's the world record?
Oh gosh. 7:30 probably, depending on the course.
So you're right in there. You're not that far away.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to us about your journey. Did you come from a swimming background, or you just use your mental toughness to start training, and you decided, I need to go Iron Man? No, I'm not going to do the 5K like a lot of us. We're going to go. How did the progression happen?
Yeah, I was a swimmer as a kid.
Okay.
Swam at a pretty high level. Swam under Sherm Shavor, who is the 2-time Olympic coach.
And you got to swim like 2.5 miles, right, at the beginning of an Ironman?
Yeah.
You start off, get all wet, and you got to swim 2.5 miles. People
40
beating the heck out of you, hitting you in the head with their arms, flailing.
It's the most combative part of the Ironman.
I just picture you in the open water with 1,000 people all trying to wrestle for first, to get out front.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay. Keep it going. Sorry.
Swimming's my forte, so I like to get out in front on the race and get away from all that boxing match.
Okay.
But a lot of people end up catching me later in the day, especially once the run hits.
Well, yeah, because you have to you sprint parts of things, but part of it's like it's a marathon, right? It's a longer race. You're talking 10 hours.
Yeah, we compare it. It's like I'm a diesel engine versus the Ferraris, which do the shorter racing. In fact.
Okay.
The short races are a lot more painful because you're redlining the entire time. Your heart rate is through the roof, and you're just struggling waiting for the finish. Where Ironman, it's a long day. It's basically an aerobic race, and who has the biggest aerobic engine and can get through. But not a whole lot of pain, hopefully.
Okay, well, not a whole lot of pain.
No.
Okay, so what about like when you're exhausted? There's no pain. What is that? What's that if it's not pain?
It's perseverance more.
Okay.
I mean, again, going back to the whole mental thing. I mean, I guess to some it would be painful. I don't view it that way. But more just perseverance.
Well, I mean, it sounds a little bit like entrepreneurship, because in entrepreneurship, you start off, it's probably a little bit like being in the water where you're getting beat up pretty hard. And then at some point you're kind of out in the open and you're in control of your own destiny, right? You're not bumping up against everybody. You have a chance to put whatever heart you have into the opportunity. Talk to us about what it feels like in the middle of that race. Like, what keeps you going?
Well, I think for most of us, it's the competitive spirit, and you're surrounded by an amazing group of up to 3,000 other like-minded individuals, all out there to do the very best they can. I mean, in one sense, we are racing our competitors, but in the other sense, we're sort of racing ourselves and racing the clock. And a serial Iron Man triathletes are constantly looking for that perfect day, which hasn't happened to me yet. But
So we're always testing our limits in business, in sports. We're looking for, I think, if you're not growing, you're dying. So are you in growth mode now?
yeah, I mean, absolutely. And this is one of the things that I tell my kids, I tell my reps. It's life is about testing yourself, and a lot of times you have to walk right up to that edge and peek over the edge. And you know what? Sometimes you fall off. But the bottom line is you're never going to know how far too far is if you don't put yourself to that edge and test yourself. And I think that's sort of the way. Another thing that I love quoting is, you have to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. And nobody grows in their own comfort zone. And that's sort of the mindset that I think that you have to be a successful entrepreneur, a successful athlete, a successful father. I mean, you name it. It crosses, everything.
What scares Darren Mount today?
What scares me? That's a great question. I'm not really sure what scares me the most. I'm not somebody that lives in that space of fear.
What's the biggest challenge you have over the next year, 2, 3 years? What's on the horizon as you tiptoe up to the edge, if you will, get yourself out of your comfort zone?
My biggest challenge right now is about 9 weeks away, which is Iron Man Santa Rosa. That's going to be qualifying for Kona and trying to get that past me so then I can focus on racing in Hawaii in October.
Well, I mean, we always think about how do you get stronger, and you can't go out and train a full Ironman, 3 times a week. I always think of training as being a series of sprints, and I know it's that way in entrepreneurship. These series of sprints is actually like intervals. That's how we get faster. That's how we get stronger. What does your training regimen look like when you're battling for something like these qualifying events?
Yeah. I mean, this morning, for example, my alarm went off at 4:30. I was on the bike by 5 a.m., did a 2-hour workout, come in and get the kids ready, help my wife make breakfast. I'll sneak in another workout usually after work. Thursdays are usually my big days. They can start at 3:15 in the morning because when I started this whole endeavor, I told myself that, look, I'm not going to be that guy that is never at the breakfast table, is never at the dinner table, is not there for my kids. So guess what? I figure it out and I carve the time and I make it work.
Carving the time. I really appreciate you coming on, what you do on the show today, Darren, and appreciate the relationship that we have with iHeart and Talk 650. And your words of wisdom today, I think for all of us, got to get ourselves out of the comfort zone. That's where I was when I started this show. That's where I was when we made the move to iHeart. I was a little out of my comfort zone. I'm starting to settle in, and thanks to you, we are moving in the right direction. So thank you, Darren.
Well, absolutely. Likewise, we definitely appreciate the partnership and look forward to growing the partnership in the years to come.
Thank you. And I want to thank all our guests for coming on the show today. And when we come back from the break, you're going to hear something that you've probably never heard before. Most people have never had their own entrepreneurial radio show, and most people have never done what I did, what you'll see and hear when we come back from the breaks. Marcus and I will share our closing thoughts about fear and overcoming it and how I had to overcome a little bit of a public speaking opportunity back in the day, 6 years ago today. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com. This is the Haney Biz Project.
Welcome back to the Marquee Media Studio for Mark's takeaways from today's Haney Biz Project.
Welcome back to the Haney Biz Project. I am back here with my main man, Marcus Haney. We've been talking about fear. We've been talking entrepreneurship. We've really had one of those shows where we've spread it out a little bit. The last guy, Darren Mount, he didn't seem to get scared. What do you think?
You know, something that resonated with me was the ability to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's...
I get scared just thinking about, I do a little bit of CrossFit. We were talking about like, my little knee owie going on. He's doing something for 10 hours.
Yeah, I couldn't do that either. But that's just the mindset you have to have when you're going into something like that. And I think the same thing is true for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, we were talking about fear. I mean, Monique shared her story about what's going on here in Sacramento. And, of course, Jay Shukla building a skyrocketing pharmaceutical company. And each of us deals with fear in a different way, Marcus. And at the beginning of the show, you and I were talking about what scares us and public speaking. We know that that's something a lot of us have to overcome. What scares you today?
Scares me today. You know, I conquered some fear this last weekend. I jumped out of an airplane, so
Nice.
that was pretty wild. So I was fear of that. You know, I have a fear of disappointing the people that care about me the most. So if I could stay ahead of that, then I think that I'll be all right.
Yeah. So we started telling the story also at the beginning of the year. We had like 6th anniversary of your deployment to Afghanistan. It's your 30th birthday today. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Well, I think we all know that, I had to overcome a little fear of being on the radio. And I think whenever you get into a new situation, you end up getting put into that comfort zone area that Darren was talking about. I got myself out of my comfort zone when you deployed to Afghanistan. So most people have never had the opportunity to be with a group of Marines or any military as they deploy, especially when they're going off to war. And so 6 years ago today, I guess it would have been 6 years ago yesterday, I had the pleasure of taking a group of Marines out to dinner for the Last Supper the night before your deployment. And so it's a group of Marines. And I am a football coach type of guy. I am a football coach. And I decided to bring out and bring everything I had as I gave the pep talk to this group of Marines. I'm buying dinner. I rented the entire restaurant and said, I'm buying dinner for all of your buddies, all of your brothers, people that I care about, that I love, and the night before they're going off to fight. And I think I had an opportunity that I think most people can't imagine. You're going to be the motivational guy to give the pep talk to the guys that are going out to fight. I'm going to roll this tape right now, so let this go, Jeff.
I really appreciate this, and I hope you guys. How's the ribs taste? Are they pretty good? Not bad. You know, right now I feel like the safest man in America. I'm buying the dinner tonight for you guys, and it feels good. Just tell me about it. No, but seriously, guys, what you guys are going through right now, I mean, most of us can't even imagine. And I'm so proud of what you guys are doing. I'm so proud that my son has friends like you guys. We're not friends. And brothers. I'm not gonna cry. You guys are brothers, which kind of makes you guys part of me. And I really, really appreciate this night. I would say, this is as humbling of an experience as I've ever had in my life. Knowing that we got guys here that tomorrow, you guys are going to be going off to war, right? You guys are going to do, this is the real deal. You guys, it's real bullets, real bombs, real blood. It's a real deal, and it's kind of hard for me as this average Joe to really understand it. But I'm here with you tonight, and I'm getting just a little taste of the quality of the individuals that are doing this thing for us. So I'm humbled, I'm proud, and you know what? I know tonight has got to be one of those nights where you're like, you got your families around you, right? It's obvious to me that as you look around the room, that there's a price that gets paid. The Donnellys are over here, right? You got Joe leaving a beautiful wife, Annie, and a baby. Nate and Heather right? Marcus is leaving Lauren. There's families. There's a price that gets paid that tonight it kind of all comes to your, I guess, more to your senses. We all know that the prices, and we all know that you guys are going into a dangerous place, that you're risking your lives, that you're going to be getting shot at, that you got buddies that are, you know, are going to, you guys are going to come back a little different. Time's going to be, you guys are going to see some stuff that guys like me don't even really, can't even comprehend. And you know what? You're doing that all. You think about that, you're like, okay, well, I'm getting a paycheck, $2,200 a month, man. Yeah. You know what? That's worth. It's worth $22,000 a month if it's worth $1. And that's the beauty of this thing. You guys aren't doing it for the money. You guys don't do this for the money. You're doing it because you look around and who's going to step up and get the job done, right? You look around, I guess it's me, right? I guess there's something inside me telling me that I'm that guy that, you know, somebody's calling on me to do it. And I'll tell you what, I love you for that, guys. America loves you guys for that. And what you guys are doing is special. It's appreciated by the average Joe out there, just so you know that. It's appreciated. So I just want to say, I guess just do me a favor at this point. Keep your butt and your head low. You guys take care of each other. I know you guys are buddies. Take care of each other. Take care of your former, you know, take care of your brothers and the Marines. And just remember that this is and always has been in God's hands, guys. So just do it like you can. Simplify.
President, hey, raise him up. You got a cap in your hat. Everyone that knows the cheer goes like this: never above you, never below you, always by your side. Hey, Semper Fi, gentlemen, you're back. Kill.
6 years ago today, you gave that toast, Marcus. Never above you, never below you, always by your side. We do that toast at the end of every show as we send Sacramento entrepreneurs out to fight the good fight. Why do we always say always by your side? Because when we're afraid, when we have fear, the way I deal with my fear is I have people by my side that give me the confidence to carry on. So, Marcus, you've stayed by me this whole time on the radio. Obviously, America loves you. I love you. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary. Why don't you take us away?
Thank you. All right. It goes like this, Sacramento. Never above you, never below you, and always by your side.